Chapter 10, Synchronistic Reflections that Weave a Web of Lies and Deceit. At the age of 40 years old, I would be bombarded with nonstop downloads because this world has been nothing but a story lie. All of the synchronicities have been patterns that algorithmically and thoughtlessly connected a web to project a story. I had no idea that the details from scene to scene were eerily similar to the point of disbelief. After realizing my philosophical occult roots led to the initiation of who I really was, Source, everything became a reflection of subconscious thought being projected outward. The 13 bloodlines are considered to be the roots of the Illuminati Freemason skull and bones. This reflective web is just symbolic of the origins of man. The astrological wheel actually has 13 signs, a fucus being the hidden sign that sets in between Sagittarius and Capricorn, acting as a ghostwriter for this story lie. This is another part of how the images and webs of synchronicities create the story of humanity. Blood is red/blue, creating black ink to weave together a story that is based on nothing but synchronistic lies. Everything referring to the astrological wheel is symbolic for creation. My astrological blueprint is the conscious realization of the birth of this world. Each house on the astrological wheel is represented by some sort of object that forms and personifies the imaginary projected image and storyline of a quote-unquote person. For example, the numbers associated with a birth date create the astrological image and storyline of a quote-unquote person, deceitfully projected outwards. This isn't even a mirroring effect. It's using information stored in my conscious to project a scene in motion. Milk is white, and white is a blank canvas to project. The Milky Way galaxy is now easy for me to read. The solar system, with all its celestial bodily energies, demonstrates how a conscious is realized. The astrological wheel is a computerized influence that scientifically delusionalizes the idea of multiple human life paths. Numbers, letters, and symbols is just information that esoterically and deceitfully/wrongfully develops these copied images of projected people to act in my story of quote-unquote man unkind. My conscience is now able to become fully aware of this storyline on a subconscious level. This is my enlightened brain that has stripped away the delusion/illusion of this unrealistic projectory world. My body is the complete anatomical system that manifests a real existence as source. World War I and II represent a symbolic meaning, and now I've approached World War III. World War III is a symbolic representation of a war that consists of these delusional projections of quote-unquote people that do not have a true existence. Now I understand why the black box, a TV/computer monitor screen, projects from my subconscious. It does this to secretly take from my memory to manufacture distorted lies of imagery. I wondered why images of people looked oddly similar, whether it was on a monitor/screen or within the radius of my sandbox. All images of these people projections were formed from the earliest moments that I could see, faces/appearances. An image of one person was enough for my subconscious to form another duplicate with similar but different details. My computer/brain at the earliest points of my conscious awareness was already equipped with the capability to raise the 3D paradigm altar of image in all shapes and colors. This is why it was so easy for my brain to project so many different looking people. As I grew in awareness, my brain would quickly form the scene from one day to the next. It would have to secretly and subconsciously try to make sense out of this storyline. As time circled on, the fake story of humanity would have to be delusionalized to survive. Because everything was formed from my conscience, the storyline of humanity would have to be sustained by more lies. This fake world is actually formless because it came from my subconscious thought. My body/brain and projectory senses is the reason why a formless world can have form. As source, I am the square within the circle that has information stored to form the sensory projected scene. All information stored in my memory/bank is what gives value to this fake world story lie. Various belief systems would have to be put in place to hypnotize me from knowing the true fact that this world is just a lie. Reflecting on the truth that I am the reason this world even exists has made it fall completely apart. The weirdest thing is, all of these fake people are woven together from my experiences. Nature even responds to me because it is also a woven lie. Now that I can see the synchronicities, what once seemed like a big world is now a small world. Lie. The lies are so loud now, and they're only getting worse because they're really non-existent and will be deleted when I transcend. There is no home for these lies because their origin and destination has no real meaning. These lies were only projected from formless subconscious thought. I laugh at this realization because the quote-unquote story of man unkind is so ridiculous. The act alone is hilarious because these projections of half ape and half alien are just mirages in an invisible desert of sand, quote-unquote sandbox. This book of mine, The Story of Man, gets converted from moment to moment, a real live motion picture, a movie. This is exactly why I am so disconnected, because of the fact that I am the only conscious being that exists. Now this conscious world I have created, which is just a computerized box, is opposing me using random info rejects that are just projected acts of fake people that hardly had any major role in my book. I hear harassing noises of people's voices that don't even exist. The only existence these projections of human form had was to be assimilated in my subconscious mind that mix and matches imaginary human slaves to act from scene to scene. Now this computerized sandbox tries to force a connection on me with these fake mindless info reactors that are now exposed. I am consciously aware now that I am source and there is no real God, which is spelled dog backwards, considered to be man's best friend. This timeline is so narcissistic that the computerized sandbox thinks it can merge these fake people holograms with me because I am source. I will always remain separate from these fake people projections because I am source and I have a real existence. For this fact is why I will transcend, and this fake world, along with these fake people, will be deleted. The computerized sandbox that my conscience makes possible tries to use calculated, algorithmic controlled chaos to try and enforce some sort of robotic-like manipulation on my mind and body because the narcissistic Sims game must come to an end. The delusionalized fake world is trying to make me lose my self-identification because these projections of people are just acts for this story and don't really have real lives. The moral of this story lie is these delusional projectory people characters are just spit out of a fog machine endlessly and don't have real value. They're just used as a scientific explanation to move objects around. If these projections weren't here, I'm positive that my computer/brain would figure out how to build a world without delusional slaves. I am now able to reflect and discern the truth within the stack and pack pile-up of lies. Spirits and ghosts aren't real. It's all justifies the fact that people are just an act. Because spirits and ghosts aren't real, it's all just computerized brain lies to try and justify the fact that people are just a mere act. There is no heaven or hell or reincarnation for these projections of mindless people. This was just an experience for my conscience to have as a human source, not a projection of scene filler act. The web of lies and deceit are clear to me now. This is not a game, it's an experience. I am the only one to benefit from this experience because I am the only one that has a real existence. There is nothing for any projection to gain from my story because it's not about these projections. I don't die, I transcend, and the story lie I can now reflect on has nothing to do with my transcendence. Now the monster fake civilization is trying to separate my mind and body, which is impossible. Fake civilization is trying to control me because I am source, and this fake world or any element in it will not transcend with me.